it's really nice to meet you. I'm glad that you're doing this interview with me. I really appreciate it. So, the first question that I'm going to ask you is, are you against animal abuse?
Absolutely. I have a cat at home. His name is Cinnamon. I love him to death.
Cinnamon? That's the name of my cat. Yeah, that's funny. I named her Cinnamon because she has like sprinkles of orange on her.
Mine too. Like just a little bit of orange on the top and sides.
That's crazy. Okay. That's so cute. But so yeah, what is animal abuse to you, and why are you against it?
Honestly, anything that's not giving the animal like the proper like care it needs, treatment, anything like space, like activity, playtime, food, a well diet, checkups, regular shots.
Yeah, and
Just
harming the animal in any way
harming the
too.
animal too, like any type of hitting, spanking, smacking.
Right.
I don't even really like when people raise their voice at their animals, because like, you know, you can gentle parent pets and
Yeah.
have good pets still.
Yeah. For the same reason that we wouldn't hurt each other, right? Because they feel pain and suffering and
Exactly.
emotional. It's just like us. So, have you heard of like the vegan movement? Or do you know about animal agriculture? Have you ever seen any of the footage or anything like that?
I know like about the PETA stuff. I don't know if they're like the best. I'm not sure.
There's a lot of controversy, because they euthanize animals,
Right.
but they kind of have to. So it's like, yeah, there's some vegans that don't support it. I support them, but yeah, people do their own research, but you know, it's just a vegan organization. There's many of them. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, but
So have you seen any like animal agricultural footage or?
no, haven't.
Okay. Would you like to see some?
Sure.
Industry. It's forcible impregnation.
Yeah, like the stuff with the chicken mills and the little baby chicks.
Yeah. So they have to forcibly impregnate them in all of the industries because the demand is so high that they wouldn't reproduce fast enough naturally on their own in order for, you know, to give enough product. That's the baby that was just born from the cow. So the cow has to have a calf in order to give milk. And now they have to take the calf away in order for us to drink their milk instead of the calf. They'll both mourn and bellow out for days to weeks, both of them. See, the cow is chasing after her baby. Yeah. They kill the boys if they're born a boy because besides the few that they use to get the semen from in order to artificially inseminate, unless they go to the veal industry, they're just killed and tossed in a dumpster because they're not viable for the dairy industry. Gonna get fattened up so that they can also be exploited for their milk. They will be impregnated as much as possible until they can no longer be impregnated, and they're impregnated far too often and too much than they should be. So they kind of give out really quickly, and then this is what happens to the mothers afterwards. They just, yeah, pile them up. And this is happening to 10 times more of them than there is us at all times. So it's about 80 to 100 billion right now every single year. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
A vegan does not contribute to the suffering and exploitation and murder of about 200 animals a year. When you watch the footage with the sound, you can hear them like screaming. They know what's about to happen. They know their life's about to be taken away. It's not even about the pain. They know it's going to happen. They're scared for their life.
That's awful. Like,
It's the worst
if I
place
was a
on earth.
person, a lot more people would be against it.
Yes. Yes, I'm glad you see that. That's the point, is to understand that. Exactly. They have a personality themselves, right? Like, they're just like us. They just look different and they can't speak our language.
And they're all pretty much innocent and contribute nothing but goodness to the world.
Yes.
People are the problem.
Yes. But you know what? We can get better. We can do a lot of good for animals, you know? We save wild animals. It's about education, right? You and me are good people. I didn't know I was contributing to this, you know, until 4.5 years ago. I went vegan. Also a human rights issue because the people working in these places have CPTSD. They become serial killers a lot of times because sometimes it destroys people and they can't do it, but other times, the opposite happens and they become abusive. This is the pork industry. They're artificially inseminate them. Right now they're taking the semen from that pig and then they're going to put it into a sow because, again, like, to keep up with the industry. So, and for me, like, I've been abused growing up, and so, like, when I watched this, it made me think of, like, wow, like, I spent my whole life wondering how people could do this, but the whole time I had thousands of victims, didn't even think about,
Right.
So what's going through your head right now? If there is anything, if there's words.
A lot of disappointment. A lot of disappointment in people. Like, there's definitely ways we found that we can, like, locally source our food without using meat and still get the right amount of protein. Me, myself, I'm a pescatarian, so I don't eat any
Okay.
red meat or chicken or anything like that.
Okay. So do you eat eggs or dairy?
No. I'm not a
Really?
fan
Just
of...
fish?
Never been a fan of eggs. I'm lactose intolerant, so dairy's already, like, out of the question. And
So you just eat fish?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When it comes to protein sources, absolutely pretty much every plant has protein in it. It's just that, like, in order to get the amount of protein that you need, you probably would want to include some grains and beans, because grains, beans, nuts, and seeds, like rice, legumes, nuts, seeds, all those things, they have the higher sources of protein. So just like meat, but it's way better for you than fish. It doesn't have the cholesterol or the mercury or anything like that, if we're talking about health. But veganism is a animal rights thing. We also don't contribute to animal testing, leather, fur, honey,
Of course.
because all of that causes mass exploitation of animals as well. Fish farms are disgusting. The fish, they have feelings too, and their skin is like ripping off while they're alive because of the conditions that they're put in. I couldn't find it on here. I want to get a better system for this, but yeah. So yeah, you're pretty much already there when it comes to your choices in life. So I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you.
I wish you could connect with the issue.
For sure.
So do you think that it would be difficult for you to give up fish and to look into choose like non-animal tested products?
Not at all. I really like tofu. I'm just trying to gain some weight right now since I've been pretty underweight for a while. But I feel like in the near future I want to switch to like a full veganism, because definitely trying that for a little while made me feel better inside and just better consciously overall. Because I've had fish before, like little aquarium fish, and I love them, so it's hard to think about like, I'm eating an animal, I'm eating a living thing.
Yeah.
And tofu's great.
Yeah. And also the sustainability of it. Like, we would have to create fish farms in order to keep up with it. It's already happening. And the conditions that they're in is really, really bad. So it's just...
And that's why we can protect our species and have them for years to come. So when our kids are older, they can see these fish and be like, hey, look,
yes,
we have fish, we have life, we have nature, like...
Yeah, just like 90% of rainforest deforestation in the Amazon is from animal agriculture, actually, especially cows. So yeah, it's definitely will help that for sure. I'm glad to hear that you're already almost there. You would be a great voice for the animals. I actually am a leader of a chapter here. Hold that same footage, like with TVs up, and we'll ask questions like, are you against animal abuse? But there's a specific line of questioning that we use, and you practice. You memorize the first couple ones, and you can watch people at your first cube. And so if you do give up fish and honey and you decide to go fully vegan, you can join us and speak up for the animals, and you can help other people go vegan, multiple people in just one day. That's what I do. So
Well, you definitely have me considering. Well, more than considering, honestly.
thank you. I love to hear that. There's a QR code on the other side. It's a link tree. And the first link is Dominion. So you'll see footage like that. I highly recommend you watch like Seaspiracy or go to Dominion and wait and scroll to the fish part, just so that you know. So that way your heart is connected with it,
Right.
and it's not just something that I said.
Yeah.
So that
for
you can
sure.
see it and you know it, and it'll avert you from it, and then you can find the alternatives for you. And there's this like vegan sushi now in the grocery store, and it
Really?
tastes just like, I was so surprised. Because California rolls, I used to eat them all the time, and I tried it. It tasted just like a regular California. I know, right?
What grocery store was it?
Food Lion. Yeah, and I know they have it at Mom's too. Mom's Organic Market.
I like that place.
Me too. It's great.
Yeah, but like another thing though, like with the fish, like I love orcas, like they're my favorite animal.
Yeah.
And seeing all the videos and stuff of like them in captivity when obviously they shouldn't be, and the way that they just become depressed, they lose their mates. People there don't really bother to try harder to get them another one or make them feel loved or
And being confined in such a
anything,
small
and
space for a
it
big
just,
animal.
you watch it tear them apart, and you're like, well, if that was me, I'd want to bang my head against the concrete too.
You said it. You get it. So yeah, lots of people are actually open to this issue. So it makes me very, very hopeful for the movement. It's worldwide, so it's great. I mean, you see how prevalent it is, like with all the plant-based options around.